The Fifth Pastoral by Ambrose. Cuddy. I and bashful into woods and thickets fly, mistrusting then our skill, yet if through time our voice improving gain a pitch sublime, my growing virtues sackful shall engage my riper verse more aspiring age. The sun now mounted to the noon of day began to shoot direct his burning ray, when with the flocks their feeders sought the shade, a venerable oak wide-spreading made. What should they do to pass the loitering time? As fancy led, each formed his tale in rhyme, and some the joys and some the pains of love, and some to set our strange adventures strove, the trade of wizards some, and Merlin's skill, and whence the charms such empire all will. When Cuddy last, who Cuddy can excel, a neat device his tale began to tell. When shepherds flourished in Eliza's reign, there lived in high repute a jolly swain, young Colin Clod, who well could pipe and sing, and by his notes invite the lagging spring. He, as his custom was, at leisure late, in woodland bower, without a rival played, soliciting his pipe the warble clear. Enchantment sweet as ever wont to hear, belated wayfarers from wake of fair, detained by music hovering on in air, drawn by the magic of the enticing sound, what troops of mute admirers flocked around. The steerlings left their food, and creatures, wild by nature formed, insensible grew mild. He makes the gathering birds about him throng, and loads the neighbouring branches with his song, where with a crow the nightingale of fame, jealous and fond of praise, to listen came. She turned her ear, and pause by pause, with pride, like echo to the shepherd's pipe, replied. The shepherd heard with wonder, and again, to try her more, renewed his various strain. To all the various strain the plies he flowed, and adds peculiar grace to every note. If Colin, complaining, excellent grief, or brisk emotion to his measure give, if gentle sounds he modulate, or strong, she, not a little vain, repeats the song, but so repeats that Colin, half despised his pipe and skill around the country prized, and sweeter songster of a wing kind, what thanks, said he, what praise shall I find to equal the melodious voice? And thee, the rudeness of my rural fife I see. From thee I learn no more to vaunt my skill. Aloft in air she sate, provoking still, the vanquished swain, provoked at last, he strove to shew the little minstrel of a grove. His utmost powers, determined once to try how art exerting might with nature vie. For why could none with either in their part with her nature nor with him in art? He draws in breath, his rising breast to fill, throughout the wood his pipe is heard to shrill. From note to note, in haste, his fingers fly, still more and more the numbers multiply. Now they thrill, and now they fall and rise, and swift and slow they change with sweet surprise. Attentive she doeth scarce the sounds retain, but to herself first comes the passing strain. And tracing heedful note by note repays, the shepherd in his own harmonious lace, through every changing cadence runs at length, and adds in sweetness what she wants in strength. And Colin, through his fifth disgraced aside, with a loud triumph sings, proclaiming wide her mighty conquest, and within her throat towards many a wild, unimitable note, to foil her rival. What could Colin more? A little harp was old, but newly strung, which usual he across his shoulder hung. Now take, delightful bird, my last farewell, he said, and learn from whence thou dost excel no trivial artist, and e'en he won the murmuring strings and order every sound. When earnest to his instrument he bends, on both hands pliant on the strings extend. His touch the strings obey, and the rigorous move, the lower answering still to those above. His fingers, restless, traverse to and fro, as in pursuit of harmony they go, lightly skimming over strings that pass, like winds with gentle brush the plying grass, where melting airs arise at their command, and now, laborious with a weighty hand, he sinks into the chords of solemn pace, to give his swelling tones a bolder grace. Now the left, and now returns the right, each other chase, harmonious both in flight, when his whole fingers blend a swarm of sounds, till the sweet tumult through the harp rebounds. Keys, Colin, keys! The rival keys to vex, the mingling notes, alas, the ear perplex. She warbles, dividend, in hope and fear, and hits in perfect accents here and there, and fain would utter forth some double tone, when soon she falters and can utter none. Again she tries, and yet again she fails, for still the harp's united power prevails. Then Colin played again, and playing sung, she with a fatal love of glory stung. He is all in pain. Her heart begins to swell, in pity's notes she sighs the notes which tell her bitter anguish. He still singing plies, his limber joins, her sore higher rise. How should she be a conqueror who before nor equal through the gulf music bore? She droops, she hangs her flagging wings, bemoans and fetcheth from her breast melodious groans. Oppressive grief at last to great quill, down breathless on the guilty harp she fell. Then Colin loud lamented o'er the dead, and unavailing tears profusely shed, and broke his wicked strings, and cursed his skill, and was to make atonement for the ill. If for such ill atonement might be made, he builds a tomb beneath a laurel shade. When adds a verse, and sets the flowers the ground, and makes a fence of winding osiers around. A verse and tomb is all I now can give, and here my name at least, he said, shall live. Thus ended Cuddy with the setting sun, and by his tale unenvied praises won.